Thank you for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Efrem Graham. Ahead today, how Israel was able to successfully attack Iran and penetrate its air defenses, and sent a message to the Iranian leaders about its ability to attack the Islamic Republic at will. And in Israel, a rabbi says the protection from Iran's attack was the hand of God and nothing short of a miracle of biblical proportions. Here in the United States, Jewish students under threat on college campuses as anti-Israel and pro-Hamas protests begin to spread. And protecting America's upcoming elections, we're going to take a look at the steps being taken to make sure the votes are safe and secure. All those stories and more ahead today on CBN NewsWatch.
This is CBN NewsWatch.
We begin this half hour in the Middle East, where one of Iran's main defense systems meant to protect its military bases and strategic nuclear facilities failed to activate last Friday when Israel launched a strike following Iran's attack on the Jewish state. Israel reportedly used a missile equipped with technology to let it avoid Iran's radar system, showing Israel can strike Iran whenever it wants. It comes as a UN report says its own Palestinian relief agency helped radicalize Gazan school children against Israel. Our George Thomas brings us the story.
In an apparent blow to Iran's air defense capabilities, new satellite photos suggest Israel hit a radar system in Isfahan without being detected. Iran has deployed multiple Russian-made S-300 air defense systems around air bases and large nuclear facilities. Israel's counterstrike last Friday apparently hit one of these defense batteries near Natanz, close to a major nuclear enrichment facility. Meanwhile, a new report says the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency, UNRWA, was pivotal in radicalizing generations of Gazans to hate Israel. An investigation led by the United Nations uncovered social media posts and textbooks that glorified jihad and martyrdom and urged Gazans to commit acts of violence against Israelis.
Some of the content, marginal, but even if marginal, rewrite is problematic. Glorification of jihad, incitation to violence, maps of the current world, not historical maps, not showing the existence of Israel. So many other problematic issues. We've lots of examples.
The UN has put forward 50 recommendations to improve UNRWA's neutrality policies and overcome a culture of political bias.
We have long made clear that there needs to be reforms at UNRWA, and we would welcome the UN making the reforms that former Foreign Minister Colonna made in her report.
However, the report also said that Israel did not provide sufficient proof to back its claim that a large number of UNRWA workers are affiliated with militant groups. In a separate matter, the U.S., for the first time ever, is considering penalizing a unit inside the Israeli military. The State Department is expected this week to impose sanctions on Israel's Netza Yehuda, or Judea Forever, a unit of ultra-Orthodox soldiers serving in the IDF and accused of alleged human rights abuses against Palestinians in the West Bank. Israeli leaders have condemned the decision as unfair, especially at a time when Israel is at war. Israeli Defense Minister met with members of the Netza Yehuda battalion Monday.
If a soldier makes a mistake, we will hold him accountable. This is the responsibility of the military establishment. No one in the world will teach us what are morality and what are norms.
It's been 200 days since the October 7th Hamas attacks. This week, as Jews around the world celebrate Passover, dozens in Tel Aviv joined families of hostages who still have loved ones inside Gaza.
We are doing this at the Hostages Square to unite together with a saying that we cannot celebrate anything that has to do with freedom when we have hostages in Gaza.
George Thomas, CBN News.
While Israel was able to penetrate Iran's defense, the Jewish state successfully fended off Iran's massive attack just a week earlier. While the Israeli missile defense system was widely praised, one rabbi told CBN News the hand of God was also at work, and what happened was nothing less than a miracle of biblical proportions.
Rabbi Yitzchok Adlerstein, great to be with you again.
Great to be back.
Yeah, tell us April 13th or into the 14th, what do you believe happened?
I believe that we were all witness to nothing short of a miracle of biblical proportions. I think it's going to take a little while for the full effect of it, for the facts to set in. But it wasn't, hey, the IDF was really successful with the aid of our allies, and Israel survived, even though there was stuff coming in all over the country, literally. 99% of the projectiles coming in, drones and missiles, were shot down. There was minimal property damage and one serious injury in a Bedouin village. Now, how do you account for that? You know, when the Jews left Egypt, Passover, which we're on the verge of, you had the really great Cecil B. DeMille moments, the 10 plagues, the crossing of the Red Sea. But you know, what happened after that? What happened in the aftermath? There were two countries, both had experienced the same thing. They had witnessed the same thing. But the Israelites went on to Sinai to accept the Torah and make a new covenant with God. The Egyptians went right back to where they were before. This is always what happens with miracles. The believer understands that this is the hand of God. And the non-believer finds some way of accounting for it. No, I don't know, we'll figure it out. We'll kick it down the road a couple of centuries. Somebody will explain it. There's no way to make a believer out of miracles. But for those of us who believe in God's hand in history, how could you not see that this was the hand of God protecting his land? In any kind of conflict, give credit to the IDF, but there's always human error. There are always things that get through. You know, the friendly fire casualties in Gaza have been some of the highest in recorded armed conflict because we're fighting in urban territory, 20% they feel. But it's not just restricted to Gaza. When you're out there shooting down those things, it's just so easy for 1, 2, 3 to get through, but not a single one. How do you account for that? And that enemies of Israel joined the fight? Yes, they had their political interests. It's true. The Iranians have been trying to unseat the king of Jordan and install a Shiite presence in their country. But still, to have the active assistance of the United States, Great Britain, Saudi Arabia, now yesterday conceded that, yes, they were actively helping, and Jordan, that's a small miracle. The bigger miracle is the degree to which Israel was spared. We were all at 2 o'clock in the morning sitting there waiting for the onslaught. And we went down to the bomb shelters. Hey, what are we doing here? Nothing's happening. And a few minutes later, you all clear, we come out and we watch this fireworks show like no 4th of July that I've ever experienced. Just watching those incoming lights take down the missiles that were aimed at us. So, you know, this is my passion right now, to Jew, to non-Jew, to anyone who believes in God and believes that Hinei lo yonum v'lo yishon shomei Yisrael, the God of Israel does not slumber or sleep. That this is what we saw. And it doesn't mean the end of the war. It doesn't mean that God isn't somehow still, who knows what he has in store for us. But you know, even in the midst of tragedy, God has a habit of sending these little notes. I know you can't figure out the bigger picture and what's going on, but I just want to reassure you, I haven't gone anyplace. I'm still with you. That's what we lived through.
Coming up, anti-Israel and pro-Hamas protests on campuses of leading U.S. universities, leading to threats against Jewish students. We're going to bring you a look at the demonstrations and the reactions when we come back. Anti-Israel protests sweeping American universities reached a fever pitch Monday as Jewish people prepared to celebrate the start of Passover. Dozens of arrests were made at Yale, Columbia canceled classes in person, and pro-Palestinian camps are sprouting up on college campuses as Jewish students fear for their safety. CBN News Washington correspondent Abigail Robertson is on the story.
On Columbia's campus, Jewish students endured threats with calls to go back to Poland. Here, a demonstrator points at pro-Israel students while holding a sign that reads, "All Qassam's next targets." And a Jewish professor is denied entry to the campus while school officials look on.
I am a professor here. I have every right to be everywhere on campus. You cannot let people that support Hamas on campus and me, a professor, not go on campus. Let me in now.
Meanwhile, other Columbia faculty members joined protesters chanting "Free Palestine" and calling for the school to divest from companies selling weapons to Israel. Demonstrations growing more radical have Jewish students fearing for their safety, leading one rabbi to tell students to stay away because the school can't protect them.
I was there today, and it made me sick hearing the things they were saying and doing. So over this holiday, I kind of just want to try to avoid it as best as I can for my own safety.
Monday, the school went to online classes only as New York Governor Kathy Hochul came to see the situation firsthand.
Students are scared. They're afraid to walk on campus. They don't deserve that. But I've never seen a level of protest that is so person to person. It is so visceral. And I'm not calling on everyone. People need to find their humanity. Have the conversations. Talk to each other.
Protests, however, spread to other schools in the Northeast. Monday night at NYU, police clashed with protesters while making arrests as they tore down a tent encampment. At Yale, police arrested 45 students for trespassing as their peers celebrated them as heroes. Pro-Palestinian students at MIT have declared part of their campus a liberated zone. While at Harvard, officials shut down Harvard Yard until Friday to prevent similar protests.
The reaction is simply horror.
Rabbi Moshe Hauer told CBN News it needs to be stopped.
It's been happening in one place after the other at different degrees, and if it's not addressed properly and efficiently, it will continue to grow. If they're doing things which break the law, they should have consequences as defined by the law. But they must have consequences. The answer can't be, "We spoke to them."
Monday, President Biden condemned the anti-Semitic protests while also condemning those he says don't understand what's going on with the Palestinians. Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
Threats have been growing against Jewish students on many campuses, and the U.S. has seen a huge spike in anti-Semitism over the past 6 months. Correspondent Paul Petit shows us how one state is working to keep their Jewish communities safe.
A county patrol vehicle guards Lubavitch Jewish Center in Little Rock, Arkansas.
We work together with law enforcement to make sure things can operate in a safe way.
At nearby Temple B'nai Israel, tiny pieces of broken glass remain as evidence from an act of vandalism.
I can't say how it happened, but it certainly has never happened before.
Both are examples of growing anti-Semitism across America's heartland. Since the October 7th Hamas attack, Little Rock synagogues have been the target of 2 bomb threats, creating safety concerns for Jewish congregations.
These are incidents we usually see in large metropolitan communities, not in our smaller southern communities. So it's even more shocking. It's even more unsettling to hear that the Little Rock community, the Little Rock Jewish community, is so deeply impacted.
A recent national survey revealed anti-Semitism to be at its highest level since the Anti-Defamation League began tracking the data more than 40 years ago.
Nationally, ADL is reporting out over 3,300 incidents of anti-Semitism reported to ADL since October 7th. So since the war between Israel and Hamas broke out, that's over a 350% increase in anti-Semitic incidents.
Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders calls the right to worship freely and safely our most fundamental right, but nothing existed previously to aid those who were at possible threat of a terrorist attack. So the governor's office worked with the Arkansas State Police and the state legislature to address it.
And basically what it does is it provides funds for organizations that are spiritual or religious-based nonprofit organizations to enhance their safety protocols and to make sure that they are able to offer safe worship for their congregants.
After its approval to provide $500,000, more than 31 applicants responded with requests seeking more than $2 million. So far, $227,000 has been awarded to 6 organizations. Of those 6, 4 are Jewish, including B'nai Israel and Lubavitch of Arkansas, which plans to continue paying for a police presence and adding unseen security measures.
So we were very gratified and thankful to the governor who made this initiative to help reduce the concern and the fear factor that presents itself in the community when this took place on October 7th.
Combating anti-Semitism is a centuries-old battle. Offering funding for protection is one way Arkansas is fighting back. In Little Rock, Paul Petit, CBN News.
Still ahead, protecting the presidential election from cyber attacks, misinformation campaigns, possible physical violence, and at polling places. We're going to bring you a look at what's being done to ensure the 2024 elections are safe from these threats and more. That story's coming up right after this. The security of this year's elections is a major concern for millions of Americans. Bad actors, both foreign and domestic, could seek to disrupt our voting systems. That's why federal law enforcement and cybersecurity officials are warning state officials to be prepared. CBN's national security correspondent Caitlin Burke is on the story.
In January 2017, the Obama administration designated the country's election infrastructure as critical. That move added federal protections, including allowing secretaries of state nationwide to receive classified information about specific threats.
Most of the information that we get from the federal government tends to be big picture, and it tends to be more focused on foreign rogue actors, foreign nations that are unfriendly to the United States.
Potential threats to this year's election include cyber attacks, misinformation campaigns, and possible physical violence at polling places or state houses. Kentucky Secretary of State Michael Adams already has firsthand experience in this area.
I got sworn in the second time on January 2nd, and the next day, a bomb threat shut down our building, disrupted important government activities. Unfortunately, we do get threats of violence against me personally, against my staff.
In Kansas, Secretary of State Scott Schwab tells CBN News he's been getting death threats since his time as a state legislator. Now, his office prepares for other dangerous scenarios.
There's reports of fentanyl being sent and weaponizing fentanyl to elected officials, and that's just terrifying. Our office now has Narcan in the office in case a letter shows up.
Former D.C. Chief of Homeland Security and Intelligence, Donnell Harvin, warns that emotions are high this election cycle. Part of that is due to a constant barrage of grievances being broadcast, which has become a breeding ground for resentment. And resentment is a key theme in radicalization.
When they make those grievances visceral, when they project those onto you, and then you look around and you say, well, no one's doing anything and I can't trust the federal government, that's where people kind of rise up and become radicalized.
Federal law enforcement warns state officials that foreign adversaries seek to take advantage of such polarizing topics.
If you look at what foreign adversaries did in 2020 and 2016 to try to weaken our system of government, weaken our democracy, they didn't actually hack into any voting equipment. They didn't hack into voter registration and change information. They certainly tried to rattle the doorknobs of our systems, but they weren't successful in harming anything. The harm that they brought was harm in their bots recirculating information that was false and turning Americans against each other.
Ahead of the 2024 election, states, along with the federal government, are working to ensure voters have a way to confirm information they're hearing. It's called the Trusted Info 2024 Initiative.
This is a trusted source, and we can partner with Department of Justice and Homeland Security to say, hey, this is false information, shoot it up.
The National Association of Secretaries of State, or NAS, uses the hashtag Trusted Info 2024 to provide real-time updates on their social media platforms. While tackling misinformation is important, a greater priority is preventing cyber attacks.
While the American public debates whether or not our voting machines are secure, and they are, our concern is more our voter lists. The last thing I want is for us to wake up on election day and that list is completely deleted or manipulated.
Despite the serious nature of these threats, state officials believe efforts to plug up potential vulnerabilities will pay off.
We've done more in the last 4 years than we did in the prior 200 to really kick the tires on our election system and improve it in every way possible.
As this groundwork continues ahead of November, state officials have one resounding complaint. Congress has yet to provide federal funding relied upon in past election years.
This money has been very helpful, especially in this threat environment of the last few years, whether it's cybersecurity, physical security, or other forms of election protection.
We don't know how much money we're going to get, and we don't know when we're going to get it.
Given that uncertainty, state officials want the public to join their fight against attempts to disrupt this year's election, specifically by voting.
My wife every now and then she'll wake up and say, "Not today, Satan, not today." You know, when it comes to election season this year, just say, "Not today, Russia, not today, China, not today, Iran." We're Americans, and it's our election.
The officials I spoke with emphasized while there could be instances of human error on Election Day, that doesn't mean fraud. And for anyone still skeptical of the process, they suggest volunteering as a poll worker. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Washington.
Back with an encouraging word for your day ahead. Stay with us.
Get your daily quick start from CBN News. A quick read on the important news of the day delivered right to your inbox. Stay current on breaking news, politics, and entertainment. Go to quickstart.news and subscribe today.
Time now for your Tuesday Tweetable. This is a message I pray blesses you and you will bless someone else, posting, tagging, tweeting, and sharing it with those in your circles of influence. You are blessed to bless somebody else. You are blessed to be a blessing. Keep your eyes wide open and your heart on alert in prayer for God to use you today. You're indeed blessed to be a blessing. Well, that will do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. You can always find more of our programs on the CBN News channel. You can find them there at any time as well as online, cbnnews.com. Take a moment, let us know what you think about the stories you've seen here today or any day. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a terrific Tuesday. Come back and see us tomorrow.